Hello. Today I'll teach you flip cancels, and I can assure you, you don't know what they are. Every clip you're looking at now on screen is a straight front cancel or a straight back cancel. There are no diagonal flips here. In this video, we'll go through what inputs you need to perform these flip cancels, why you would want to learn flip cancels, which controller settings you need to perform flip cancels. I'll show you examples of pro players that use flip cancels, Jojo, and then I'll teach you how to practice flip cancels and how to progress into some of the most difficult shots you can do in Rocket League with flip cancels. Let's start. So let's begin by understanding flip cancels and how you can do them with your controller before I can even teach you some of the cool moves. Maybe you know, maybe you don't, but there are two ways of canceling flips. There are diagonal flip cancels and straight cancels. So let's just start with diagonal cancels, which you may already know, and because this is usually the type of cancel that pro players use. You do this by doing a diagonal flip and then moving your stick right back down. It is used for things like Speedflips, rapid resets, controlled flip recoveries, etc. Of course, you can do the opposite direction by doing a backwards diagonal flip and moving your stick right back up. This is used for things like half flip variations, reverse rapids, and even flicks. Okay, now, these are cool and all, but it has its limitations. For example, when you do a diagonal flip cancel, your car must do a full rotation before you can start airrolling again, which means that for things like rapid resets, you must time the flip perfectly right before flipping so that you can align yourself perfectly for the flip reset. So it has its limitations. Now, what you're here for? Straight cancels. Hopefully that's what you're here for. A straight cancel is basically just a front flip or back flip followed by a full opposite input. So let's say you do a front flip, moving your stick right back down would make your car stop. That's not it. If you move your stick right back down but also to the side, you can also yaw during your flip. But not only that, if you do it correctly, you can also aero during the flip. So now what you have unlocked is the ability to yaw and aero during flips. We have now extended complex aerial movement into flips as well. That's what flip canceling is. Insane. So now you can maybe start to see things like delayed breezes, how they work. A delayed breezy is just a normal breezy, but the movement of the breezy setup is extended into the flip itself, so that you can flip into position sooner without the need of a perfect spacing between you and the ball, and then just on-cancel your flip and flick the ball. This and a lot of other things you can start learning with this simple concept. It's just insane. So before we start to learn the cool stuff, and I give you some training packs, some like things to practice for this. Now let's make sure that you have the right controller settings to be able to do this stuff. For an in-depth tutorial, step-by-step guide on how to find controller settings, just watch my dead zone and sensitivities video right here. KBM players can skip this part as you already are able to do full diagonal inputs with 2 keys. Anyways, as I was saying before, for a straight cancel to work, you need a perfect front flip or back flip followed by a full opposite input. This is very important. Let's start with the front flips and back flips. Can you do a front flip? Can you do a back flip? No, you can't. Most likely, this is due to the fact that you may just have a controller dead zone so low that it's difficult to perform a perfect front flip or back flip consistently. You can download this plugin, Joystick Self Check, to check that. But let's start addressing that. So download this plugin, see if you can consistently perform a perfectly straight front and back input. If you can, awesome, you're just better. If you can't, like me, then just increase your controller dead zone till you can. It's that easy. Okay, that's the first step. Once you can do that, Watch my dead zones and sensitivities videos so you don't whine about feeling slower and continue with this tutorial. So now let's get into the cancels themselves. With this same plugin, see if you're able or not to reach full diagonal inputs. If you can, perfect, you're all set up. If you can't, switch to square dead zone. There's a video here you can watch. If you don't want to switch to square dead zone, still watch my square dead zone tutorial, or just increase your aerial sense to 10 and don't ask questions. Or just avoid learning all this cool stuff I'm about to teach you because you are too comfortable with your inability to do any mechanics in this game and you often hate mechanical players in your ranked matches. You can also do that. That's lame. I wouldn't do that. Let me tell you a little story. As I was editing this, I started watching this Musty video about rating the most mechanical players in the pro scene, and I was very intrigued by the fact that Musty couldn't comprehend a simple flip cancel done by Jojo. Musty was amazed by everything Jojo was doing, and he was dumbfounded when he found out he couldn't do any of the flips that Jojo was doing. You gotta understand, Musty's a very mechanical player. He probably has more hours in history in this game than I do. And he's always surrounded by some of the most mechanical and long-lasting players in the RL scene. And yet, he still can't comprehend to its full extent some of the most simple mechanics in Rocket League. So this analysis is for you, Musty. So, one of the most important things about learning anything is being able to look at the gameplay of others and truly understand what is happening before you can even begin to look at the simplest mistakes of your own gameplay. So I'll help you a bit right now. I'll show you some of the best clips of one of the most mechanical pro players in the scene, and we'll analyze his flips together so that you can hopefully start looking at flips the same way I do. So let's start. Okay, so here we have the pro touch of Jojo. Let's see what he does. So diagonal flip cancel, there it is, just normal, just a backflip, front straight cancel, diagonal cancel. Every time I say diagonal flip cancel, it's really just a spit flip or a variation of it. So that's a diagonal cancel, and as you can see, at the very end he actually on-cancels his flip. So diagonal cancel, then at the very end you can see how he on-cancels and it brings the nose back up. There it is. Now that's a front cancel. That's not a diagonal cancel. So he scoops the ball up with a front cancel and a little bit of movement with the stick to the left actually, and that will make a tornado spin with arrow right. So he finishes, and let's start watching some more clips. Hopefully you guys will start noticing this on your own. Now here there is a backflip cancel. It's not just a backflip, he actually cancels it. So he flips here, and then once he gets here, there's a cancel here. Now as soon as he gets close enough to the ball to notice that he won't get the touch perfectly, he on-cancels, and the nose just comes straight back down so that he can get it. Diagonal flip cancel. These shots are insane. This guy's nuts. But yeah, he has a freestyler background, so that's why it's very easy for me to notice all this stuff. Now here a musty is a backflip, and then as soon as he finishes the backflip, right here he's canceling. So it's a delayed cancel, you could say. Little backboard reset, diagonal flip cancel. Even here he does a diagonal flip cancel, but notice how right here the nose just kind of pops down, goes down very quickly. That's because of the on cancel, because he notices the ball is going down. Back cancel, delayed for musty. There you go. For example, there's a non-cancel of the flip. So he does a backflip cancel, straight backflip cancel, a little bit of movement in one direction, but as soon as he notices the ball is just going to drop, he on-cancels right there. So he gets the flip, and then a little speed flip right there. He also knows that he wants to get down, so he on-cancels a tiny bit at the very end. There it is. Now this one is a funny one, and I think most people won't comprehend this one, but it really is just kind of like a half flip, you could say. So he's doing a perfect backflip cancel. There's a backflip. Now he's using arrow left, and then as soon as he gets close enough to the ball, he just on-cancels right there. That's it. Here again, just backflip cancel a little bit, very delayed so that he can control it. Speed flip, cancel right there. That's a very common way of finishing a shot for freestylers. So there's a speed flip, very normal. Then here he does a front cancel. There it is. And now he's moving his stick a little bit to the left, and he's gonna start arrowing right. It's still a delayed cancel, so it's not straight away, but it's still there. So hopefully you can start watching that. Speed flip. At the very end, let's see. Speed flip. Here at the very end, he knows that he has to get right back down a little bit, so he on-cancels a little bit. Here again, little thing. He goes for that perfect touch, does a flip right there. There's a non-cancel for the nose to go right back down very soon. Here there's, I don't know if you can notice this may be a little bit more difficult to see, but this Mossy, perfect right here. Right here he's starting to cancel a little bit, and what you'll notice is the nose is a little bit to the left. And he needs the nose to be on the right side, but he's still canceling right here. So he's actually moving his stick to the right as he's canceling, a very delayed cancel, and now he's doing like kind of like an inverted tornado spin. So it would look something like this. And then of course here, little diagonal cancel at the very end, speed flip. All right. Just a side flip. Really good control right there. Wave dash reset on the ball. Little diagonal cancel to finish it. Diagonal cancel to transition into the wall. Little cancel there. You see how he stops his car. Right there. It's a little bit in the air. And then tornado spin to get the nose back down and to land with his car. Even if he's reversed, it's still a good landing. That's why it doesn't matter. There it is, little cancel at the end. Alright, that's just a diagonal flip. I don't think there's any cancel there. If there is, it's very tiny, minimal. Front cancel with his stick to the left. Front cancel, stick to the left, arrow right, and then he also lands on the backboard. Little subtle things like those. Front cancel, arrow right, and he gets that. So speed flip, and here you'll notice he does a speed flip, the nose pops right back up, flip ends, so now he can control his car, and he does an inverted tornado spin, gets the reset, front cancel, he's now arrowing right, and he gets a double tap. That's also why he can do that, and then as soon as he's in position, he just kind of stops arrowing. That's why front cancels are so useful. If he did a diagonal flip right here, what could have happened is he would over rotate, which he could still score, but it's not as useful. Here, this is one of the cancels that is hard to understand for some people. So here what you'll see is he basically positions himself perfectly for the flip. Then once he's positioned, he's just doing a front cancel with his stick on the right side and using arrow left. That's it. Front cancel, stick to the right, arrow left. That's it. Now the follow-up, good musty. He cancels here perfectly. So he does the musty, boop. Now there's a cancel here. He's canceling a little bit. Here the flip is done, so now he can just start arrowing back like normal. Yeah, and this is one of the players that uses the most amount of flip cancels, by the way. Straight cancels. Okay, let's see here, for example. Flip. Cancels right there. So what's happening here is he positions himself for a musty. He does the flip. He knows that he's gonna have to boost up, so he delays the cancel so that the nose is kind of in position right here. And then here there's a little cancel. It doesn't seem like it, but there is a cancel. His stick is on the left side and using arrow left. So it's right now in this position. He flipped. His stick right here is down to the left and using arrow left, and he's doing an inverted tornado spin. There it is. Even if it doesn't look like it, trust me, it's how it is. So here again, just a good musty, and there's a cancel at the very end. Just good musties. Diagonal cancel. You can see at the very end of this diagonal cancel, this one is a bit of a complex move to make because you have to position yourself perfectly before flipping, but he does a diagonal cancel here. Normally here your flip would kind of be pointing forwards, but right here he uncanceled so that the back of his car, the backside, would actually come forwards and flip the ball downwards. There it is. He lands perfectly on the backboard. So all these subtle things are very important for you to understand. Little cancel. There it is. Just rapids. Now that one, notice the difference between these two flip resets. This one is a speed flip. Notice how the car moves on its C-axis, you could say, or just it rotates very straight, so the nose is pointing forwards most of the time. Nose pointing forwards. And then second one is actually not a diagonal flip cancel. This one is actually just a diagonal flip. You can see the nose just goes straight back down. And the reason for that is he wants the pop at the very end. So here, he just wants to get that speed flip and be positioned perfectly for whatever is next. Now here he has to make a change in the direction of the ball. He's already very, very far left, and he needs this pop of the nose from the right side to get that kind of positioning. Here again, same thing. He's going so far from the right that he needs to just do a diagonal flip. There's no cancel at all. So these are the kinds of things that you have to start noticing. This is super important for you to understand because you'll have to see this in your own gameplay. Speed flip, so there's a diagonal cancel, just a diagonal flip. Just a diagonal flip. See how he uncancels his flip at the very end? So there's a speed flip. Speed flip. Here he knows he has to get the nose back up. So he uncancels his flip and the nose just goes straight back up. There it is. Little cancel. Stick to the left. Arrow left for the musty. Oh my god. Okay, that one was a freestyler shot. There's no way this one is not his freestyler days. That one was a very freestyler kind of shot. Holy shit. I'm baffled. Alright, that's a front cancel. Right there. So he's just flipping and arrowing left. Then there's a little on cancel. It's hard to see, but he on cancels a tiny bit. Front cancel. There it is. Perfect placement of the car for the ball. And there's a diagonal flip right there. Backwards diagonal flip. And there's no cancel actually. Speed flip, speed flip. Nice. This one is a cool shot to learn. So this is just a front cancel, simple front straight cancel with just arrow instantly. And you can follow up resets like those, and it's very unpredictable. Here again, he does a diagonal flip cancel, and he uncancels at the very end to bring the nose right back up. Foop, uncancel, foop, brings the nose back up. Let me know if this is helping you, really. Like, this is just a little bit of an in-depth analysis. I'm not used to doing this, but let me know if this format helps you, because I know that people need examples, and usually who you watch is pro players, so this might help. Front cancel, there it is. Speed flip, fade front cancel. This one is a hard one to look at, because this happens to me as well all the time, where perfect speed flip, then right here, what I usually try and do, and probably Yoji also tries to do, is you do a cancel right here, and you try to move your stick to the right, so that the nose moves to the left in this case, and you can follow up. But in this case, it's just very hard to follow up once the nose is here. So the only thing left to do is to let go of the flip cancel, and just begin a new thing here. And what he'll probably do here, and what should happen, is since his nose is in this position right here, he will do, with arrow left, he'll move his stick to the right, and he will do a tornado spin. There it is. This one is the one that boggled the most Musty. So let's analyze this one. It's very simple. It's actually super simple. So he positions his car perfectly for the flip. So straight, flat, that's it. And now what he will do now is he will do a front cancel to the right. So he will move his stick. First he will do a front flip, of course, and then he will move his stick down and to the side right, and he will use arrow left, and that will do a tornado spin. Tornado spin with arrow left, and that will make a tornado spin flip, and that will turn him around and get the reset, which is very flat. There it is. Now he's done with the flip, so now he just waits for the ball to get to his car. That's it. He gets that flip, and now what he will do is a speed flip. So here it is, speed flip. That's it. So he times it perfectly to get that shot. Now right here, he needs to get another diagonal flip, but it's all about the positioning. So right here, he has to put his car like this, like specifically like this, so that he can keep on moving upwards. That's it. So all these flips are very easy to replicate if you just position your car perfectly right before flipping. Straight cancel to the right, arrow left, there it is, stops his car from moving. Speed flip, finishes. Really good shot from Yo-Yo. See, notice how here, for example, what I was telling you before, this one wouldn't work sometimes, but it works here because of the time. But he does a diagonal flip cancel, and notice how he doesn't align himself with the ball. So he's in flat at the very end, so he has to adjust with arrow left to actually stay flat. That's because the diagonal cancel doesn't let him just stay flat. There it is. So here we go. Speed flip. He gets a little on cancel at the end to get that power with the nose. So here on cancel, he gets a little bit of power with the nose, and then just continues as the flip is over. There it is again. So speed flip, he uses, there's a little bit of control involved here with the on cancel. So there's just a tiny bit of on cancel right here. Right there, there's a tiny on cancel for the nose to go right to the right and just continue moving in the right direction. And here again, cancel. He's canceling here, and now he's actually using arrow right. So he's moving his seat down to the right with arrow right, and that will do an invert tornado spin. And we'll do that. Speed flip. Front cancel, just a front cancel, no arrow, nothing. another musty with stick to the left and arrow left. So yeah, that's JoJo. So every single shot in here, it's just explainable. It's just very easy to see. So hopefully this one helped you. Maybe it's a little too much, but I think it will help most of you. So now let's start to actually practice these kinds of shots, and I'll show you what kinds of things you can do to start progressing and making sure that you can get to this kind of level, and even more actually. Jojo is a pro player and he has a freestyler background, but freestylers are usually even more controlled with flip cancels. So I'll show you all of that. You can maybe even get to be even better than these types of pro players. Not more consistent, just with more mechanical variety. That's all. Alrighty, so we will be going through 7 different levels of flip canceling, from easiest to hardest. Lots of new mechanics you will be learning, and as good as you may think you are at canceling, I can assure you there will be something you will learn at every level. So let's go for it. Small disclaimer, I won't be teaching any diagonal flip cancels, so if you want an in-depth tutorial about diagonal cancels, just comment, I'm poop at this game, please. Let's begin at level 0. So, for level 0, you basically just really have to get comfortable with the idea of canceling. So, we just have to start canceling. That's it. All your Rocket League career, you will be doing 4 different directions of canceling, and of course there will be variations, but in reality, for cancels like this, you'll be really just moving your stick in 4 different directions. For front flip cancels, you have 2 directions, which would be left and right. So if you do a front cancel, front flip, and you move your stick down and to the left, which you have to do instantly, otherwise it will kind of take a little bit longer to move. So you have to do it instantly. You have left and you have right. And for back cancels, same thing. You have back cancel to the left, back cancel to the right. So you just have to get comfortable with that. And now, right there, something happened to me where I wasn't pressing any arrows and yet it didn't go just flat. That could happen if you have a very low controller dead zone. Even if you think you have perfect front flips or perfect back flips, what could happen is when you have a very low controller dead zone, so let's go for this, and I just start doing cancels, what you'll notice is sometimes my car will either do a diagonal flip or a perfect cancel, but right there, notice how my car just starts arrowing on its own. That's because it's kind of like in between a perfect front flip, right there, it arrowed a little bit. It's in between a front flip, right there again, and a diagonal flip in between both of those. So right here, I'm not doing anything. It's just doing a flip on its own with a little bit of arrow. So it's kind of like in between a diagonal flip and a front cancel, and you don't really want those kinds of inconsistencies. That's why I usually try and make sure that you get perfect flips all the time. So you want to increase your controller dead zone until you get perfect flips. Right there, it moved a little bit still. So you want that kind of movement. You want your car to be completely flat. Right there, it moved a little bit. That kind of flip. Right there, so that's consistent flipping, flip canceling. You don't want any inconsistencies because those will mess you up. So you want to increase your controller dead zone till you are consistent with each and every one of these flips. Front cancel to the left, front cancel to the right, back cancel to the left, back cancel to the right. There it is. So those are just in the ground. You will usually be doing them in the air with the ball. So let's just start hitting the ball with these kinds of cancels and just start doing them in the air. So right now we're not adding any arrow. We will do that a little bit later. But right now, literally just get comfortable with the idea of flipping and moving your stick right back down and to the sides. So let's start with one of the simpler shots. So say you're doing maybe like ceiling shot. What you'll try and start doing is do the ceiling shot and just try and start moving your car. Your car in one direction as you're flip canceling. Maybe you want to do it upside down. You want to start doing this. Just try and get a touch with the booty of your car, with the backside of your car. Just try and start doing cancels at all times. Maybe you're doing a little pogo. Like this. You just wanna finish like that. Just start doing the cancels on the ball for the pre-flips. Say you're finishing a shot, so you do a shot like that. Then you want to get to the ceiling. That was not what I was trying to do. So say you're celebrating a shot, you want to get to the ceiling, do a flip cancel. Flip canceling is like stalling. It's gonna be the exact same movement every single time. Not even kidding. The only thing that changes for flip cancels is the positioning you have right before doing the cancel. That's what you have to worry about. Now, there's another thing you have to know about flip cancels, and it's that just doing the cancel itself won't help you reach certain movements. So for example, if you want to do this movement that I usually get asked a ton, so kind of like yaws. So just flipping like this, you're flat and then you just flip, won't get you there. So what you have to do, and this is something that you'll do every single time, I'm not even kidding, you have to tilt back right before flipping and then doing the flip. I'm not even kidding, every single time you're going to be doing that if you ever want this kind of motion off of those kinds of flips. So if you want to do it backwards, you're going to have to tilt down before you flip cancel, and the same thing goes for the forwards flips. You have to tilt back right before doing the flip, and now you have this, just almost a completely sideways motion. And sometimes people wonder, like, why does my flip look like this and yours looks like this? That's not because I'm quicker. Maybe it is because I'm quicker, but for the most part, it's just because I'm tilting back right before flipping. So you just want to tilt back right before flipping. That's level 0. Just start doing cancels. Maybe add aero. You don't have to. Now we get into a cool mechanic you can learn. So these are Steezy half flips, from the word clean stuff in skateboarding. And Steezy half flips are just kind of half flips that you can start learning, but they are really freaking cool. Like, this kind of half flips are just really, in my opinion, they're really smooth and nice to watch, nice to look at. So you can start learning this. These are not too difficult. It's just a bunch of different inputs, all in very specific timings. So how do I do this? So really, you're just doing a back cancel like this, or a front cancel. I'll teach you the front half flips later on, but right now let's start with the back cancels. So you do a back cancel either to the right or to the left, and what you're gonna be doing is halfway through the flip, not instantly, halfway through the flip, you're gonna do a tornado spin. So if you're doing a back cancel to the left, a tornado spin would be the opposite, so arrow right. There it is. If you're doing a back cancel to the right, you would need arrow left to do a tornado spin. There it is. And it really is just that. Halfway through the flip, you're canceling like this. It should look something like that. Halfway through that, you're gonna be doing a little bit of arrow. And at the very end, you're gonna either let go, because what will happen if you just continue moving your stick in that direction and keep arrowing, you'll just kind of start landing badly. So you don't want that. You just want to stop using arrow and stop moving your stick, and that's it. And if you want to make it even more advanced, you can actually start doing it off the walls, arrow like that, and this one is just a little bit more advanced, just because you have to stop your car from moving any further. So if I just stop moving a car, it will on-cancel. On-cancel. So I have to actually move my stick back center. You will see here on my stick. Look at how I just move it back center very quickly. so that I can stop my car from moving any further. You don't want this. So that will usually happen. What you want to avoid is that. So there it is, and you can start aiming stuff. So maybe you can go left like that, maybe you can go right like that, and just start messing around with those flip cancels. You can jump and delay the half flip. So there's something very useful about Steezy half flips, and that is that you can position your car in a way so that you can hit the ball in with very specific parts of the car. So here, if I want to hit it like that, then I can just do Steezy half flip and I will hit the ball with the backside. So it's very useful in that sense. That's one use you can have, and I do this all the time. Usually with a normal half flip, it's a little bit hard to like get a perfect touch with a very specific part of the car and recover afterwards. So maybe you're doing this and it's just a tiny bit hard. You can still do it, but it's not as clean, it's not as cool, and you can get even more controlled with just Steezy half flips. So now let's get into front half flips. So just doing this, and these are usually just used for things like this, where you're doing a freestyle. So this one is basically just a front cancel, same thing we were doing before. Front cancel to the right, front cancel to the left, doesn't matter as long as you're using, in this case, you're gonna be doing an inverted tornado spin, so you're gonna be using the same arrow. So if I do a front cancel to the right, I'm gonna be pressing arrow right, and we'll do that. And here you have to stop as well at the very end. You just have to let go at the very end. And that's it. Halfway through, you're pressing arrow right, and we'll do an inverted tornado spin, and we'll put you like that. Same with the other side. Front cancel to the left, arrow left, and you'll get that. And then you can also sometimes, if you don't cancel too quickly yet, you can still do the opposite thing. So if you delay the cancel, what you'll notice is if I do it very quickly, the nose will be kind of pointing downwards. If I do it very delayed, the nose will be pointing upwards. And what that will make me do is actually do the opposite. So in this case, instead of doing an inverted tornado spin, I would need to do a tornado spin for my car to get right back on its wheels. So if I do an inverted tornado spin, it will go right back up. So you don't want that. So if you delay the cancel a little bit, if you do it very late, then you can actually just do a tornado spin and do a half flip like that. So if I just do a half flip normally and only point my stick down, that would do kind of like a coxswain twist. And coxswain twists always turn you to the side. Doesn't matter where you are, they will always turn you to the side. So if you're doing tornado spins or you're doing inverted tornado spins, these are the kinds of spins that will point you forwards once you're finishing the move. Coxswain twists will always turn you to the sides when you're doing them. That's another little tip for aerial control that you can have. But for this kind of flip, it's very important to know that tornado spins will lead you to be completely straight, as well as inverted tornado spins. Same with arrow left. Now we start to just learn how to cancel the flip and understanding recoil. So this is a new concept that you'll start learning. I'll give you all my no flip training packs, but first we'll start with this one. We'll go to the last two shots, which are no flips. And what we will start doing is just understanding recoil. Because what happens with flip cancels is if you cancel the flip on the ball, you can actually stop your car from moving at all. You can even get the recoil so strong that your car will move back. But this is what you get. You get so much recoil that your car just stops moving. And the reason you want to learn this and understand recoil is because if you understand recoil, you can also start moving your car. Notice how I can stop my car and also yaw entirely. There's like I'm now yawing perfectly to the side as I'm getting this type of recoil. So with this kind of yaw movement, I can also take advantage of it and how hard that movement is. So here I'm really just putting myself here. That's it. Single jump, putting myself sideways, completely opposite from the ball where it's going. So if I'm gonna do a front flip and the nose is gonna be moving to the left and the ball is coming from the left, that's what the recoil will do. So if I do the opposite, so I move opposite from the ball and do a flip cancel, of course it's not gonna work unless you approach the ball from an angle like this. There's tons of flips that you can start doing and tons of other types of control, and this is something that you'll never see from pro players. This is something that has taken freestylers a shit ton of time to actually master, and it's something that really only freestylers or really no flippers do, and it's just understand recoil to its full extent. And that's why you can see very clean stuff happen with flips like this. Now, pro players still understand recoil, but not to the extent freestylers do. There's tons of ways of canceling your car with the ball, and you just have to make sure that you do a little cancel. That's a back cancel, front cancel with the backside. There it is, and you can get really consistent at these types of shots. The reason for these types of no flips, apart from learning how the recoil works, you can also start learning how to use aero after cancels. So say right here we're just doing a simple no flip into the goal, but now notice how the car just moves straight to the right. In this case scenario we have two options really. We can either use aero right or we can use aero left. We can also maybe stop our car and just try and go counter from the recoil, but that will take too long. So we just move with the flow, basically. That's how you could say. We're just moving with it. And we have two options. We can either use aero right, aero left. Aero left will do a tornado spin. And a tornado spin right here will make me go up. The opposite would be an inverted tornado spin. A tornado spin will make me go down. Here what you can try and do is get the shot like this, move your stick to the right for aero left users, and just start doing a tornado spin. Then you can start following up. And what you'll do here is try and aim for something. So here I'll try to aim for the corner here. There it is. And the same thing goes for aero right from the other side. So I do this and I just try and go into this part. There it is. And you can also try and learn how to go right back down. So on this side, you would need aero left. There it is. You go right back down. This one is a little bit difficult, but it's still a very simple concept. You're just using tornado spins, inverted tornado spins. If you just press it, nothing will happen. Or it will, never mind. I thought it was not gonna work, but it does. Okay, so you just want to go down like that, you just do that. There it is, inverted tornado spin. Same for the other side. You press aero right and it will drag you down. Now doing it upside down, we'll do the opposite. Okay, so now let's get into some rebounds and finishing touches. So the idea behind this is that you have to start getting used to positioning your car in different ways to get different kinds of touches. For example, if I do a ceiling shot and I want to hit the ball into the left side, I would have to do a cancel like that, very specific cancel, to launch the ball into the left. Or if I did something like this, I have to position my car perfectly underneath the ball to get a touch underneath like that with the nose of my car. So you're gonna start learning some different positions for your car to be in to get different types of touches, different types of pre-flips into the ball. So every single shot you're gonna ever finish, you're gonna try and do a cancel, and different types of cancels will resort in different types of things. So for example, right here, I do a front cancel. This is a very useful one. You do a ceiling shot and you do a front cancel, just a front cancel, literally. Just do a front cancel. And you add a little bit of aero to do a tornado spin. You can actually bring your car right back up very quickly and follow up. Notice how I do that? it's just a front cancel to the right, and I'm just using arrow. With arrow left, it would be something like this. So I just do a front cancel with arrow left, and I can follow up. Of course, everything is about the touch itself, so if you don't get the right touch, it's hard to follow up, but you can still get a really good touch. There it is. Now, same training pack I showed you before. So here, what we'll be doing is two types of shots. We'll be doing shots straight for the ball, so maybe no flips. And the thing here is you'll maybe try and do this and land on the backboard. So here I just press arrow left a little bit. So I do a really good ceiling shot. I just press arrow left and just try and land on the backboard. Try and get used to understanding the flip cancel. There it is. So I just land on the backboard. And the second one will be pre-flips. And these ones are just really just based on flips that you'll practice first on the ground and then do here. So for example, here I'm going to be doing a tornado spin flip. And if I position my car flat and a little to the side, then I can get this type of flip. And if I stop my car halfway through, you can look at my stick right now. That's what I'm going to do in the air. A little bit of arrow, I stop right there, and that's it. There it is. And of course I start arrowing right again after I touch the ball, because I want to land on the backboard. But you can start doing this. Now, I'm making it look very easy because I've practiced this kind of shot way too much. But that's really it. You're just doing one simple move every single time. You're stopping your car. You can also arrow a lot. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can do. Just start arrowing and expect at some point to get the perfect positioning. You're never gonna get that. You want to be efficient with the amount of course, sometimes you can start doing some other things if you want to arrow more, but every shot you're gonna be making is just very, very consistent, like very repetitive. That's why you can see me do this shot. And the thing about the shot that you're seeing me do, and it looks very, very complex, I just practice it so much, and almost every input is pretty much the exact same. This one, of course, is a very complex shot, but still, it's a shot you can learn. You just have to worry about the positioning. So in here, we're just learning positioning. Right here, we just stop right there, and we do the flip. And it's gonna lead you into way more consistent touches with the backside of the car. And now, little tip. So even if I position my car with arrow right, I wanna flip with arrow left. Just because if I use arrow right, what you'll notice is it'll be very weird. One, to land on the backboard, and sometimes to get the touch. So you wanna learn each flip from each side so that you can get these types of rebounds and finishing touches. You're probably gonna have to slow down the video so that you can get the inputs perfectly. Pretty much focus on the only things you should be focusing on is the setup. So when I say setup, I mean how I'm positioning my car right before flipping. So right here, I go a little bit to the left and flip into the right with arrow left to do a tornado spin. So I'm moving my stick to the right and down. There it is. So these are just some flips you can do. There's tons of other flips you can start doing. So now let's get into level 4. Flicks and ground stuff. So I'm gonna give you this training pack. It's a no flip training pack. What we'll be doing here is just a couple of flicks. These ones are actually not too fancy, but they are really cool flicks to learn if you're just trying to get more, just get better at cancels and the speed of the cancels. So here, these are all cancels really. First one we're gonna learn is just a front cancel on the ball, like this, and maybe even follow up like this. But all it is just you're letting the ball drop on your car. So it's dropping on the very nose, and then you're doing as quick of a front cancel as possible. So what should happen is you'll get recoil from the backside with the ball, and then it will make your car kind of make it grounded. And if you want to follow up like this, you're just gonna have to reverse with drift. So right here, you're actually just doing the flip, and as soon as you do the flip, right after, you're just holding drift. Right there, I'm holding drift. And then if you want to follow up, you just click reverse and the opposite stick. So if I'm moving to the right on the cancel, then I'm gonna be reversing and moving my stick to the left. There it is. Then if I wanna do it from the opposite side, stick to the right. That's it. But usually what works best is as soon as you get on the ground, you jump. And you can also do this if you get the ball to roll on top of you. So say you want the ball to do this. So for you to do that, you just have to make sure that the ball is rolling towards you and not away from you. If the ball rolls away from you, it will pop. If the ball rolls towards you, the ball will stick to you. So you want the ball to roll into you, and you just want to stay close to it, and then do a backflip. So the half flip that I taught you before, that's basically it. So these kinds of things will just get you good and going with flip canceling faster. Now that's not only it. So you can also start doing very quick jumps into the ball. So you're doing this type of thing. Just getting comfortable with the idea of canceling very quickly after a very sudden movement is also gonna get you, it will be very good for you. But that's it. Grounds and cool stuff. It's just the cancel pop flick. That's it. That's the cancel pop flick. And cancel ground shots. Okay. So now let's get into advanced no flips and cancels. So now we get into things that will maybe take a little bit more time to actually teach. So I'll probably do some dedicated videos for these types of shots. But all I'm doing in these shots is kind of controlling the recoil a little bit more, controlling a little bit more my stick. So I can then start learning how to follow up with different kinds of movements. I'm not doing a diagonal flip. Diagonal flips are even probably easier because you can pre-flip very well. But here all I'm trying to do is cancel on the ball and try and follow up. And you're going to be doing this even in games, like say you want to hit the ball into the backboard and you just want to actually start controlling your flips. So for example, here I can kind of land on the backboard right after a touch like that. So after you get into that, you're probably gonna start even doing flip cancels on the ball, flip resets. So the first one we usually learn as freestylers is this one, because it's very easy to do the flip. You're basically just doing a tornado spin flip, that's all. And then, for example, if the ball is very far away, you can just do that flip, and notice how I kind of get it perfectly. Same flip again, I just do it and get a shot with the backside. So it's a very simple flip you can learn. That's it, little tornado spin flip with a little bit less arrow, and you get that kind of touch. And now if you change the positioning right before doing it, so right there for example, you notice how I try and do a rapid reset, so it's a diagonal cancel, and it doesn't align because it over rotates. Now that wouldn't happen if I try to do it with a flip cancel. So I try and do the same thing, but now notice how I'm doing a very similar type of flip, but I'm just getting it flat every single time. That's kind of the whole point of flip canceling, that you can control arrow a little bit more. So now advanced flicks. Now this would be things like musties and breezies, and here you can watch my musty video and you will understand cancels a little bit more once you watch this video and then watch the musty tutorial. But basically you're gonna start actually doing stuff with the ball, controlled stuff with the ball. You can grab the ball, actually start catching the ball with different types of flips. And it's just very useful to actually know how to do this, because in any kind of situation you can actually flick the ball. Doesn't matter how you're positioned, it's just very easy to flick the ball and get different types of touches on it. You can maybe even start flicking the ball like this and recovering. Very easy to do. That's a very cool shot to try and learn. You can do it with a straight front cancel. Almost no movement on the stick. You can do it with the corner of the car and at an angle. And notice how I do an inverted tornado spin. You can even start doing things like the flicks that I showed you at the very beginning. And then we have things like Brazilian flips. So yeah, you can start doing some really cool flip cancels like those into very awkward touches of the backboard. And these are just very cool things to learn if you're trying to learn new things. Brazilian freestyling is just a very, very cool thing to learn. And it's all about flip cancels and understanding flip cancels. So now, if you're already trying to get to this level, flip resets, you should or are able to do all the other stuff I mentioned here. It would take a dedicated video to teach you all this stuff, and there are already some videos out there that I made to explain this kinds of stuff. And we're basically gonna start learning advanced front and back cancel resets. For example, the front inverted tornado cancel reset. That would be that is a front inverted tornado cancel, and that will be a jacksie, for example. So if you add a little bit of inverted tornado spin to it, that'll be a jacksie. There it is. Now you also have the back tornado cancel reset, or a Maktuf. So that'll be if you're sideways and you do this, so that would be doing a tornado spin during a flip. If you do that, then you can also get flip reset like that. There it is. That'll be kind of like a Maktuf. And if you do, also you have front heli reset and back heli resets. So if you position your car perfectly while tilting back a little bit, you can also start doing some heli flips. So front heli flip, that would be kind of like a jacksie but more exaggerated, so that's how I call it. Front heli flip. I'm just doing a flip cancel. I'm adjusting a little bit at the end, but I'm basically just doing a cancel to the right, and it's all about the positioning. And the same thing goes for the back cancel. So you can learn back heli flips. There it is. So something like that you can start doing. There I even added a little bit of inverted tornado spin to get that kind of flatness looking. And yeah, you can also even do something like a front side reset, which would be something like this. Forwards, that would be kind of one you can learn. You can also do a backside reset, backside cancel, something like that. And yeah, there's a ton of things that you can do as long as you start learning the complex movements of your flip cancels. So yeah, if you need any help with anything, I do one-on-one coaching on Maktuf. I have more than 500 hours in coaching. I can help you with anything. I also have a Discord server where I give free help, and I've given help to countless people. Every day I respond to a different freestyle question. Any questions you may have, I'll probably answer there. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and if you have any ideas for anything you would like to learn, I'll gladly teach you. And there's an aerial video coming soon, so stay tuned for that. And good luck in your freestyle journey. Bye bye.
It's something that they never seen.